let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
That's the signal. Go. 6. It's beautiful. Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up and let's go.
The Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you along on therushradio.com. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. If you're listening on the stream at therushradio.com, thank you very much. If you're watching on YouTube, good to have you along this morning. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button right now. Hit that like button. And, of course, you can leave comments on the chat room. You can follow us on X at Rush Mornings. And, of course, you can like our Facebook page. And today we have a very good reason on why you need to like our Facebook page, right, Ross Peterson?
Yes, we do. Some fun stuff and some great opportunities for you and a friend.
A big-time friend, yeah, because we're friends. We're reaching out socially that way. Of course, yesterday, last night, we put a tweet out and a Facebook post out about free tickets to the Iowa State TCU game tomorrow at Hilton Coliseum. And normally during most radio giveaways, we would do that via, a call-in. Well, we're not going to do that today. We want to, so we're going to be talking about this all day long. We're going to drive social interaction. Social interaction, Ross. We want to be social
We're going to get creative here. We want to find some ways to introduce this to as many people as possible, and this is going to be fun. So, yeah. The real quick, every day you start and you're like, hey, like and subscribe to our YouTube page. That's something, Travis, that, first of all, I never thought I would be a part of something that said like and subscribe. I never did that. When I saw those on YouTube videos, I was like, no, not doing that. And then you hear the people say, hey, it really does help us. It really, really does help us. If you just hit that like and subscribe, it's easy to do. It's free. You don't have to pay for anything. But, man, does that help us to get the word out and to do other things with this program. I never understood that, but now I do. So please, if you are watching on YouTube, or even if you're not, go to YouTube, find our page, and just hit that like and subscribe button, and it helps us out in a great way.
Of course, the Rush Radio Show is always on demand, too, at therushradio.com. And even after the show, if you click that Listen Live button, the show is going to be playing continuously. Or you can also just, wherever you listen to your podcast, hit the subscribe button on your podcast and have that downloaded each and every day when it comes into your feed. So you'll be right there. So we want to send you to the Iowa State TCU game tomorrow. And here's how we're going to do it. It's going to be kind of a thing that runs most of the day. But we want you to go to our Facebook page. And our Facebook page, all you have to do is search The Rush with Travis and Ross. Or you can go to therushradio.com and click the Facebook icon that's up in the upper right-hand corner of the webpage. And we just want you to make a simple post on there. You can post on our Facebook page, but here's what you have to do. Number one, you have to like the Facebook page. You have to like us. And then we want you to write a post and tag someone you think should be listening to the Rush Radio Show. So we want you to help us spread the word. Yes, we're using you. Yes, we are going to use you, but for a very good purpose.
Until we use you up.
And you're probably wondering, well, the game's tomorrow. How the hell am I going to get my tickets? Well, tickets are a lot different than they used to be. It used to be you had to, get a piece of paper, get an actual physical ticket, and they'd have to mail them to you in the mail. Well, these are all electronic now. So,
we used to have to say, come down to the building, and you can pick them up. But then we fired everybody that worked at the building, and so we quit doing that. You can't come to the radio station and pick anything up because nobody works there. Desk is empty.
There's just
literally
nobody there.
Front desk is empty. Has been for a decade. So don't go.
I had a dream about the front lobby the other day, Ross.
I got a message from Shirley, the old receptionist, the other day.
I had a dream that for some reason my key card still worked,
Do you still have a key card?
I still have a key card, but I'm sure it's been deactivated.
It hasn't. It hasn't. Here's the deal. They don't know who has what key card. I'm not making that up. I'm not making it up. They have no idea who has what key card.
And so I walked in, and it was a hardware store because they're like moving to the second floor. And I had a dream that the first floor was now a hardware store. Why it was a hardware store, I have no idea. What's the subliminal message behind the hardware store in my dream?
That it's just parts for sale, Trav. That's what that is. It is. It is. Yeah, it is parts for sale. That's what your subconscious was telling you there.
Yeah, I woke up in like a cold sweat, going, "What the hell? I just bought a hammer."
Oh, people were asking about the Hawkeye hammer. Somebody thought that maybe since the Hawkeye hammer went away that I was no longer most valuable friend. Well, guess what? I still am. It's just over here.
Just over there.
And
of course, if you want to purchase or purchase a home or sell a home, you can call Ross Peterson at 515-867-1679, and you'll see that sold sign out in front of your yard in no time at all.
Well, I mean, give me a little bit of time, but yeah.
So, again, if you want the Iowa State TCU tickets, go to our Facebook page, and people are posting already, which is awesome.
Very cool.
And all you have to do is like our page and then write a post and tag somebody you think should be listening to the Rush Radio Show at therushladio.com.
And, Travis, it can be as simple as tagging your buddy and saying, hey, at Travis, you're going to love this show.
Yeah. It's not that hard. And then later on this afternoon, our good friends at Choice Creative, who are providing us with the tickets, will reach out to somebody who's posted and hook you up for the Iowa State TCU game, which starts at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. Just be aware it's an 11 o'clock in the morning game. So they'll email you the tickets. You'll be able to walk in. And if I know it's Choice Creative, I think they're pretty good seats.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Do you like, Travis, I kind of just did a 180 on that 11 a.m. tip. I didn't realize it was 11 a.m. tomorrow. My first instinct is like, ugh. Man, I get, it doesn't take me a second to go, wait, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Because you're done at 1 o'clock.
Yeah. You got a full Saturday still.
Yeah.
You're going to go up and have a lot of fun on a Saturday up at Hilton, and then that's cool.
And I think the Hawks play at noon tomorrow. So if you're going over to Carver Hawkeye to watch them play Wisconsin, it's a little longer drive, but you still have your evening, right? And so,
I'm with you. That, like, instantly I was like, 11 a.m.? Wait. For everybody, for watching at home, for going up there, that's awesome. That's good...
Think about football games. Did we like 2:30 games? Did we like 6 o'clock games? Or did we like 11 o'clock games?
I always liked 11 o'clock games. I liked 11 o'clock games as a fan. I like 11 o'clock games as an attendee, as a sound-off host. Yeah, way better.
Yeah, if you can have your evenings free, that's absolutely perfect. I had my evening free yesterday, but I didn't make the most of it. I was on stage yesterday for about 8 hours. So we had our all-company meeting. We had like 260 people there. And we do this once a year. We bring everybody together for a full day of, just what the last year was, what we're doing in the future. And I was on stage for about 8 hours as I MC this whole thing and bring people on. Is it hard work? No. Is it exhausting work? It is, because you're performing in some way, but you're on your feet all the time. Ross, I got home about 5 o'clock. My wife had some swordfish blackening in the skillet. So we had swordfish for dinner. It was wonderful. I crawled into bed and started watching AP Bio.
Yeah.
I fell asleep at 6:30 last night.
Holy cow.
6:30.
What time did you wake up?
I ended up waking up right around 3 o'clock, maybe 2:45, and I laid in bed until 4, and then finally got out of bed around 4 o'clock.
Now, okay, when you lay in bed for an hour and 15 minutes, does that mean
scrolling your phone?
Yes. Scroll on the phone, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And then my wife going, hey, that's a bright light. I'm like, deal with it. Deal with it. I'm up. She goes, this is why I told you not to go to bed at 6:30 last night. And she makes a valid point.
Yeah, she does, usually.
But I have to MC another event tonight, so that's going to go a little bit later.
So like 8 hours, dude, that's a long freaking time. What are you guys going through, like all of the... What do you do for 8 hours? That's a long, long, long meeting.
It is. So, the theme yesterday was building connections. And the way a construction company is set up, you have a lot of people in the field, you have a lot of people that work in the office, but you have a lot of people that don't know each other. So we had a guest speaker come in. We flew him in from Philadelphia. He was great. His name was Rob Lawless. And I mentioned this yesterday, but he's on a mission to meet 10,000 people and spend an hour with those people. And he's already up to 7,500 or something like that. And that's through 8 years. And so he did this pie chart. If you were to put your life in a pie chart, do you consider he goes, is like 50% of your life work, is 20% faith, so it was just probing questions and get people to know each other on a deeper level. But then you go through what every department's done over the last year, the financial performance of the last year. Then you talk about initiatives that are coming up that, sometimes people don't get access to. So it took us about 4 months to put this together, but it was productive. It was long. But by the end of it, you're like, okay, I need a drink. And right when I got off stage, I was just kind of sat exhausted for a little bit. Then I went and had a double vodka and soda. So I'm like, yeah, I need a vodka soda. Pour me one up. Because you got to do that after the meeting. You got to go, hey, there's alcohol here if you guys want to stay and connect. Of course, the Busch Lights were flying all over the place. Everybody was drinking the Busch Lights. Everybody loves the Busch Lights. 515-517-2303. That's the number to call if you want to, talk to Ross and myself. Give us your thoughts. You may have a thought about this. Before I fell asleep at 6:30 last night, yes, 6:30, my daughter called my wife. Now, remember, my daughter, Mary, lives in New Orleans. And what's going on in New Orleans right now? It is the Super Bowl. So New Orleans is being overrun by the rich and famous. She said, first of all, New Orleans is on crack right now. And she goes, you would not believe the amount of yachts that have come into the harbor in New Orleans. Just massive, massive boats, yachts, showing the amount of wealth that is being displayed. But she works at a local brewery, and we love craft beer, right?
Of course.
Well, this is what I want your thoughts on, Ross. This is a cashless bar, so they do not take cards.
Wait, cashless?
Or no, they don't take cash. So they only take credit card. Now, I understand when you're just a local bar and you're trying to do something different and it's noble. I will say this: if you own a business and you don't take cash, you're missing a golden opportunity to, help your cash flow out a little bit. But with the Super Bowl in town, you have people from all over the country coming. And my daughter was all upset because several people came in yesterday, wanted to buy beer, and they
just had cash.
And one of them was an African-American man who said, what are you doing here? This is racist. This is a racist policy because I feel like as a black man, I feel I don't have a credit card. I've never had a credit card. I don't have a debit card. And you're profiling me and you're only catering to people that have, and I think that's a bit too far. That's
not a bit too far. That's way too far.
Yes.
That's way too far. That's not racism. It's wrong. I think it's wrong. I would argue that it's illegal that you can't turn away cash in the U.S. when it's legal U.S. tender. Now this is the type of thing my brother, who I love dearly, and he is like one of the world's greatest human beings. This is the type of stuff my brother makes a scene on.
Oh, so he would make a scene down there.
Oh, he
would make my daughter cry.
Yep.
And it's not even her fault,
and my brother's a wonderful guy. He would absolutely make a scene and say, you can't do this. This is legal U.S. tender. You're in the United States. You're a business. Take my cash. It's not racist, and the problem with that is that now you've conflated two things and watered both of them down. Okay, it's not racism. It has nothing to do with the color of your skin. It has everything to do with the color of that money. That's all it is. Nothing to do with the color of your skin. So you're watering down real racism by trying to claim that this is racism.
That's fair.
My gut tells me that you're one of those people where you've got a hammer and so everything is a nail. That guy probably calls everything racist because that's not racist. It is. I do think that it's short-sighted and wrong, and I'm with you on the cash, the whole cash thing. A lot of people do this, though, Trav. A lot of places go cashless. A lot of places. Remember, we even talked about this with some places do the opposite. Some places are cash only.
Well, because they're smart, because they're probably running their business, and they understand that, you know, if it's a $5 tab, 3 goes in the cash register, 2 goes in your pocket.
Or
not saying
or 3 in
when
the
I owned a
pocket, 2 in the
coffee shop
register.
I did that. You know, I'm not saying that was my MO, but
Just saying it could have.
You know, and you have to separate, like, because Charlie just put up, you know, Wells Fargo Arena and Hilton Coliseum. That's a different story. And you are alerted before you go to those places that it is a cashless system, and that prevents theft because you have so many other people around. I understand why people do it, because if you own a bar, if you own a retail establishment, you want to prevent against even employee theft. You want to believe that your employees don't steal from you, but they do.
Yeah.
And if you're at Jack Trice, if you're at Kinnick, if you're at Wells Fargo, and you've got multiple stations all the way around, taking cash is kind of a dangerous thing when it comes to losing money. Now, if you're a local bar and you have customers that come in and out, or just, you know, want a night on the town, I compare those to a different type of situation. Or should I do that?
No. I think you're right. It's a little bit different. To go back to the racism thing, dude, I would say this. If I were in that position and it was Mary, right?
Yes, it was Mary.
Mary actually needs to turn that back around, and I'm dead serious about this. The racist in that situation is the guy claiming that black people can't get credit cards. The racist in that situation this is like voter ID laws. When people say, "Hey, voter ID laws are racist," black people can't get IDs?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, Andy, 515-517-2303. Andy, what's going on,
What's
man?
up, Andy?
Not a whole lot, man. Enjoying the show on the new format here, guys. I'm on my way to work this morning. I thought I'd weigh in for what it's worth. I don't know how accurate it is, but I was down at my favorite beer garden in my favorite waterworks park this last fall, actually. And I only had cash on me because I was coming home from work and I had scrubs on. So I didn't have my wallet or anything like that at the handy. So I tried to pay with cash, and the gal said, we can't take it. She was nice about it.
Yep.
And no issue. I went back to my car, got my wallet, paid with my card. And then I asked somebody about it, and they said, so even though it says this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private, that's only to the federal government. That was explained that way to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Individuals can do that. I was just trying to tell you what the argument my brother would make is. Adamantly, by the way. He'd adamantly make that argument.
Yeah, I mean,
Andy, by the way, I've done that exact same thing, Andy. On a walk, I walked into that exact same beer garden. Didn't even know that was there last summer. Kind of turned a corner. I was like, oh, this is like a little pop-up bar type of thing. And had that exact same experience. It was a really cool thing.
Yeah, no, so one of the things where I found out that a government entity could even not give it to you or not have to take the money was I deal with one of our state boards, and I have to renew my license every couple of years. One time I went in to pay my 300 and whatever dollars. I had all $1 bills, and they refused to take it.
Really?
And that was my argument. This is legal tender. Oh, we don't take cash here. Like, how do you not take cash? You're a government office.
Charlie, were you or this is Andy? I'm sorry, Andy. Were you trying to be rude when you took those $301 bills?
I wasn't trying to be rude, but I was definitely being a smartass.
Same thing. Tomato, tomato.
Andy, question for you. You say you're listening on your way to work. Are you listening on the stream at therushladio.com? You listening on YouTube or Twitter?
I'm listening on the stream, but I have liked the YouTube channel or subscribed to the YouTube channel, and I'm telling everybody I can about it.
Thank you so much,
sir. Hey, drive safely, and anytime you hear something, just give us a call, man. Appreciate it.
All right, you guys have a great weekend.
You too,
Thanks,
Andy.
Andy.
Talk to you soon, bud.
Yeah. Are there any places in like Des Moines that are cashless?
Oh yeah. Yeah. In fact, Jason just wrote Principal Park.
Besides the arenas, let's take the arenas and like Wells Fargo out, Principal Park. Like this would be something we ask Bruno maybe next week. Do any of your establishments not take cash?
Tribe, I see a lot more people doing the Central City Liquors thing. I see a lot more businesses saying cash discount.
And you know why? Because they don't want to pay the credit card fee.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, did you see the credit card CEOs in front of Congress a couple weeks ago?
No.
Oh, it's unfreaking real, dude. It's unreal how much credit card debt Americans hold, how much the credit card companies make off of Americans for doing nothing. And then how they charge small businesses more. So Walmart goes to American Express and says, hey, wait a minute. We're going to stop taking American Express unless you guys reduce your fees. So they say, okay. Yep, you got us by the short and curlies. We'll acquiesce. What do you want to pay us? Because don't worry, we can charge Walmart less. We'll just charge normal people more. It's gross, dude.
Chris
my buddy
says
Flag, yeah.
Yeah, Tasty Tacos gives you a discount when you pay with cash.
By the way, brand new
Yes.
Tasty Tacos location.
Really?
Yes, just south of like the Cobblestone area on 86th, 22nd, 86th, and Hickman right there. It's brand new Tasty Tacos location, just moved a little bit south. So had a chance to go there the other day. My buddy Josh Mosqueda running that. Proving once again that nada es imposible.
Now, I'll be honest. As a business owner, when I owned the coffee shop, I loved cash.
Yeah,
right?
most people do.
Yeah, because of just what I said earlier, and that is you realize when you own a business pretty quickly how much the government takes from you, whether it is, you're paying into all sorts of things,
and
sales tax, entertainment tax, you got to pay unemployment tax, all this. You realize that, man, you're getting hosed by the government just for owning a business.
Yeah, and then for the convenience of people being able to pay you without actually touching cash, you have to give away a bunch of your profit.
Here's what I don't like, and I never did this to my customers. And Tony says this. He goes, a 1.5% credit card surcharge last weekend at a local brew pub. I don't like the fact that they pass that along to the customer. You should build that into the price of your beer.
You're saying we just touched on it, Travis. Basically, we just said the exact same thing in two different ways. One is cash discount. The other is credit card surcharge. They're the exact same thing. You're just saying it in a different way. You're coming at it from a different angle. One is, hey, you get a cash discount. If you pay us with cash, you'll pay less. The other way is saying, hey, if you pay us with a credit card, you're going to pay more. They both meet here, and in the middle, you just got to say it differently. And Frank, I met Frank the other day. Frank, glad you're listening, man. Thanks for weighing in, buddy.
Now, to be fair, I harp about this and I talk about it. If you were to go into my wallet right now, I maybe have two $1 bills. I never carry cash anymore. I use not a credit card, but I use my bank debit card, which is essentially the same as cash. Now, I understand that fees are charged when you use that debit card, but do you carry very much cash anymore?
No, dude. And literally, you say that I have two $1. I have $2 in my.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just not convenient for me to carry cash anymore. Now I'm going to Santa Fe next week for a weekend getaway for the President's Day weekend. I'll probably take like $100 in cash, but I'll use my debit card for pretty much everything else. So.
Going to Santa Fe for their big President's Day celebration, the big parade they have?
Exactly. I've never been to Santa Fe. I've only driven through New Mexico like once. So I've physically been to New Mexico, but I've never spent time there. So we're going to spend a weekend with your buddy, with our mutual friend, Pat. So
oh, nice.
Yeah, so Pat and I and the wives are going down. And we're going to spend time in Santa Fe. We're going to go to all the art galleries and pottery stuff and check that out.
Yeah.
So
I've been to art galleries with Pat before.
Jason says this. He goes to New Orleans. He goes, I'm definitely going to your daughter's bar or brewery in a couple weeks when we're in New Orleans. Jason, do me a favor. If you want to meet my daughter, if you want to be there when she's working, reach out to me, and I'll try to find her what her schedule is so you can go there and just kind of freak her out a little bit. Go, hey, I listen to your dad every day.
She's going to know when Jason walks in wearing all of his Hawkeye gear.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to walk in decked out in Tiger Hawks, and she's going to go, I know who that guy is.
Tony says that he pays tips in cash, and then the bar bill or whatever that bill would be with the debit card.
I see what you're saying. It's that way the waitress or waiter gets the cash tip to take home with them at the end of the day.
Yes.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm not that forward thinking. I'm not.
Yeah,
dude, I got to the grocery store yesterday, checkout aisle, and started running my stuff through the thing, and I'm like, oh, I don't have my wallet.
Oh, that's a bad feeling. That's a really, really bad feeling.
I did that one time at Walmart with like $200. Like I had gone shopping. I'd done you know what I mean? Been there for 45 minutes, filled up a cart worth of stuff, gone through, checked it all out, go to hit pay.
Do you have your phone? Because you can put the pay on the phone.
At the time, I didn't have the thing set up to be able to do that. What I literally went over to the lady and I'm like, hey, I need to run home. Can you set this stuff aside for me so I don't have to go through this thing again? And they were very nice about it. But yeah, Marcus is right. Apple Pay is the way to go. That saves the bacon.
Yeah, I know some gas stations do it. Is the Central City Liquors 10% discount with cash, and that's a better deal because you pay with a credit card or a debit card. They're getting charged 1.5%, maybe 3% for the swipe plus 30 cents a swipe. It's weird how it all works, but you're actually getting a much better deal by paying in cash. So, cash is king. Cash has always been king. I get why, like arenas, stadiums, everybody like that does it. I don't understand why just kind of local brew pubs or local restaurants do it because cash is just a lot easier. And I bet 10 years ago it was 80-20 cash. I bet it's like 90-10 card now. Don't you?
Sure. I do. I don't know. I don't even know. Again, most of what I do is done with a card. I don't carry cash very often.
515-517-2303. That is the number to call if you want to have a conversation with us. Don't forget you can get a chance to win Iowa State TCU tickets tomorrow. All you have to do is go to our Facebook page. If you already like the page, thank you very much. If you haven't liked the page yet, give it a like and then tag a friend or two or three and say, hey, you guys should be listening to The Rush. And if you tag them, we'll be able to see who makes those posts, and then we'll select a winner. We'll reach out to you, and we'll get you some tickets to the 11 o'clock game tomorrow at Hilton Coliseum between Iowa State and TCU. Because Ross and I are giving people, and we have good partners who go, hey, we have tickets to give away. You want to give them away? We're like, yeah, we'll give them away. Absolutely. So just go to our Facebook page right now or sometime, I would say before noon. I would get it done before noon because we want to get these tickets out the door to make sure that you get them. Right, Ross?
Yeah, good idea. I was even thinking before the show was over, but I like that. I give people a little bit more time. That way, I like that. Okay.
It is the Rush Radio Show at therushradio.com.
Hi, I'm Sean McFarland, Service Manager at Mini of Des Moines. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and if you're looking for the perfect gift for your Mini, give us a call and get your vehicle in for its scheduled maintenance or any repairs that you've put off until now. There's no better way to make your Mini feel the love that you have for it. Please give us a call or visit us online at miniofdesmoines.com.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage & Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage & Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage & Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
Missing a quality, home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's $25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's $25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's $25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Is something in your attic keeping you up at night? Don't let unwanted guests take over your home. With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's trusted expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly wildlife solutions at a fair price. We safely remove bats, squirrels, raccoons, birds, and more so you can sleep soundly again. For a free estimate, call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400.
It is the Rush Radio Show at therushradio.com. Thank you for listening this morning. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on X at Rush Mornings and like our Facebook page. And today only, like our Facebook page and then leave a post tagging a friend, a 2 or 3, and you could win tickets to see Iowa State play TCU tomorrow at Hilton Coliseum. And, of course, you can listen to the show all day long at therushradio.com. I'm Travis Justice. He is Ross Peterson. Again, the website is therushradio.com. If you want to reach out to me, you can do that, Travis at therushradio.com. I don't know if Ross has set up his email yet or not. The look on his face would say that he hasn't.
I can't. That's one of those things. Every day I'm like, oh yeah. It's on my list. Set up email, and then tomorrow I'll look at my list and go, what didn't I accomplish? Oh yeah.
And then on Monday we'll be like, hey, do you have an email yet? And you'd be like, no.
What did I do? What now?
And of course, you can always call the show at 515-517-2303. The Iowa women went on the road last night, got a win over Minnesota, beating the Gophers by a score of 68-60. 11th straight win over Minnesota. That's the 11th straight win over the Gophers.
Travis, anytime you do that in a conference like that, I mean, and Minnesota is not great, but that's domination, man. 11 straight against a conference opponent. That's the type of stuff that Kansas men's basketball does.
Yes.
I mean, that is a domination for 11 straight competitions. You have you've been significantly better than this conference opponent. That's awesome.
I think the good thing was we were wondering how Iowa would come off the win against USC, right? I mean,
yeah.
And where would they be emotionally? They'd struggled earlier in the season to maybe find their footing. They've won, 5 in a row now? So that is Iowa trending in the right direction. as they hit the rest of this Big Ten season with Nebraska coming up next on Monday night. So Hannah Stolke went over the 1,000-point mark last night. She had 17 points, 7 rebounds. Lucy Olson, 14 points, 7 assists. Sydney Afalter with 13 points, 14 boards. Just a really, really good win for the Iowa women who again, have won 5 in a row. So good job by them going on the road getting that victory. The Iowa men are going to be home tomorrow, Ross. A showdown with Wisconsin. Iowa's lost 5 of its last 6. And, a couple weeks ago we were talking about, must-wins for Iowa. I don't know where Iowa sits right now. I'm assuming they're out of the mix when it comes to the NCAA tournament. I think it's a safe assumption just by the way they're playing.
Yeah, I think in the last thing, I think that the last things I saw, Travis, last time I saw them, they were in those first 4 outs, and then they stopped falling off. They fell off of that chart even. So I'm not sure they're really considered a bubble team anymore. I don't think so. I mean, they're certainly on the outside.
We've been around athletics a long time. We've been following sports a long time. Just mentally, you wonder where this team is. It's lost 5 of its last 6 games. Most likely not going to make the NCAA tournament. Your best player, I don't know if he's the best because I think Josh Dix is a pretty good player, but
your most consistent production is Freeman.
Yes. And he's gone for the season. Mentally, just where is this team at? And you're playing a Wisconsin team, let's not forget, that put up 115 points on you last month.
Where are you mentally, Trav? I don't know, dude. I mean, it's such a broken record. It's such a broken record. We've been in rinse and repeat mode as Hawkeye basketball fans for damn near a decade, it feels like, man. Now, and you've had these high moments in there, right? You've had the Murrays. You had Luka. You've had moments. You're a top 10 team at times. Hasn't this been isn't this the feeling that we've had for a long time? And
yes.
I don't mean the feeling of being outside the bubble. I mean the feeling of like, this is what the season's going to be. There's not a lot of hope. There's not a lot of high end. There's no real. The ceiling isn't real high. Never has been. Never has been. What like you when you I know you kind of teetered on that. Yeah, it's must win. That conversation I've been having with Hawkeye basketball for a long time. What are they playing for? What is their goal for this season? If you were to sit down in that locker room right now, is their goal still to make the NCAA tournament?
I think you're playing for pride right now. I think you're literally playing for pride. Pride in yourself, pride in the university.
It is 2025, and you're a Division I sports program. That's not okay. That's an insult. When you are playing for pride as a Division I program, that's an insult. That means you have failed at your job almost at the miserably failed at your job when you're playing for pride at the Division I level in a Power 5 conference. You're done. You're done. You got to go.
Let's clarify that a little bit, just from my opinion. And there's a lot of Division I schools out there, over 300 and some. So there's going to be some that are just bad, right?
Yep.
But you just clarified it. You're in the Big Ten Conference, but it's not like you don't have the budget, the facilities, the financial wherewithal to be competitive on a consistent basis in this league. I'm not saying you have to win the Big Ten every year, but there is no reason that Iowa is not an NCAA tournament team every single year.
It's pretty simple. It really is. Go look at the tenures of the other Big Ten coaches. Go look at all of them. Go look at every Big Ten school, okay? And if you find a coach that's been at that school for more than about 7 years, they've won. They've won. They've won Big Ten titles. They've been to Final Fours. They've maybe won national titles. They've been Coach of the Year. Except for one guy. You go look at the entire conference when you see the tenures of those coaches. You talked about Matt Painter the other day. Matt Painter gets knocked because he can't win the big one. He hasn't admitted. Guys stacked up Big Ten titles.
Stacked up number 1 seeds. He's stacked up runs in the NCAA
Hawkeye
tournament.
fans don't like to hear this. We are Northwestern. We are Northwestern when it comes to basketball. We are a middle of the pack. Every once in a great while, get up into that top 3 or 4, and then it fades away again because you happen to have one guy who had a great season and worked his ass off and ended up being, because in basketball you can do that. You can have 1 or 2 guys and you can change your roster and be more competitive. Iowa hasn't been able to do that. Even with the 1 or 2 guys, they just come short. Just can't quite get over the hump there. And the argument they're never gonna.
And the argument that doesn't work anymore. And when you and I first started doing this show together, 10 years ago, even when maybe Fran was underperforming, but getting the NCAA tournament was, be careful what you ask for. We had the Todd Licklider years.
Dude, it is that scare tactic. That's exactly what it's been from Hawkeye fans for years. Dude, it's the same thing with Kirk Ferentz. We've heard it. We have heard that from major donors to the Iowa football program. You guys don't want Kirk Ferentz to leave? Because if he leaves, what could you're never and by the way, I do love Kirk Ferentz. I'm not saying, but it is a scare tactic of like, you're never gonna get any better. You're Iowa, right? You're Iowa City. You guys want to win? Yeah, they did names too. And look what they did. They got a guy that can do it. In a short amount of time. They looked past all of these people scoffing at them, saying, you want to win in this state? You guys are lucky to even have a team. Just be glad you have uniforms and you get to play. No, Jamie Pollard looked around and said, I think we can win.
What does Jamie Pollard think about every one of his programs?
I think we can win. I think we can win. We're putting ourselves in a position. Look at the football program, man. The schedule came out the other day for the football team. If you don't see 9 or 10 wins by that Iowa State football team, next year Iowa's going to make a lot more money than Iowa State. They're going to make a lot more money because of those television deals.
But who's going to be knocking on the playoff door? It's going to be Iowa State.
Damn right. And it looks like that's going to be the case for a while.
You brought up Matt Painter. If we were saying the worst thing about Fran McCaffrey was that you can't win the big one, and when we mean the big one, the national title, we would be pretty happy. It would be disappointed.
It's a relative conversation, right?
It is.
You would. Purdue fans are just as there are some fans that are just as frustrated with Matt Painter as we are with Kirk Ferentz, but it's that framework of success. The framework for Fran McCaffrey's success is down here. It really is. We consider it to be a really good season for Fran McCaffrey if the team makes the NCAA tournament and is a top 7 seed. What's Purdue's framework for success? It's up here. You need to be a top 5 team all year. You need to be a number 1 seed. You need to make it to the Final Four. It's up here. We're in the same conference. They have the same job. They have the same job with the same goals and expectations. And after decades, Fran's framework of success is down here, and Matt Painter's is up here.
What would be a bigger shock to you? Fran McCaffrey steps away at the end of the year or is fired, or that Fran McCaffrey is brought back at the end of the year? It would be
a bigger surprise and bigger disappointment for Fran to come back. He's checked out.
How will Fran McCaffrey be looked upon?
This looks obvious to me, to everybody, that he's checked out. This should be it. The passion's gone. The fire's gone. The there's just not a lot of there. What will Fran McCaffrey's legacy be?
Yes.
That's a hard question, Travis. He'll obviously go down as the winningest basketball coach in Iowa history. And I think I want to stop right there. I really do. I'm going
to ask you something controversial here.
Okay.
Through my lifetime that I remember, he's not as good as Lute Olson. Lute Olson got Iowa to the Final Four. George Raveling was not there very long, but won and brought some incredible players to Iowa City.
Yep.
We saw what Tom Davis did, got to the Elite Eight. I still remember that loss, but was consistent, had a definite brand, that full court press. There was a style of basketball that you loved. Steve Alford had his issues. Did Steve Alford have a better run at Iowa than Fran McCaffrey?
No, nope. And Alford's is tainted by a couple of things. First of all, Pierce. Yeah, that's number one. And I think that's just the overall kind of feel of the Steve Alford era. That's kind of a black. I think Hawkeye fans want to ignore that.
Understandable.
We got to date the prom queen. It turned out she left the dance to go home with somebody else. So we don't like to talk about that dance. The prom queen said yes to me. This is different, man.
And we're taking Todd Licklider out of the equation.
Yeah. I think that I think part of Fran's story is going to be the family thing, the family dynamic. I think that when you tell Fran's story at Iowa, part of it is he brought in some great players. There's that George Raveling aspect. He brought in Luka Garza. He brought in the Murray twins. I always loved oh my gosh, Connor. I did. I loved the way he played. So the family dynamic is a part of that story, but Travis, I don't think he's looked at with reverence. It's not Tom Davis. It's not even close to Tom Davis.
No.
The way that we everybody loved Dr. Tom. I mean, in 5 years, will they bring Fran back to have a halftime celebration for him? Bring him out to center court and everybody cheers for him? I don't see that. If they announced that Fran was leaving and they said, all right, everybody, Fran McCaffrey's decided he's going to step away at the end of the season, we're going to have a big send-off for Fran McCaffrey. Who would raise your hand if you're going out of your way to go over there for Fran McCaffrey's send-off? There's no connection. If TJ Otzelberger said he was leaving at the end of the year at Iowa State, they could sell those tickets for $500. It'd be like Caitlin Clark being back there. They'd pack the place to say goodbye to him.
Depends on what he left for, but you're right.
Under the right circumstances, and I'm just trying to lay out that feeling that Hawkeye fans have for Fran. It's not one of lovey, touchy-feely. Oh, Fran, welcome to the fold. We'd love to have you over to the house for dinner. That's not how Hawkeye fans feel about Fran. It's not how I feel about Fran. Now, none of my friends feel that way about him.
And let's use football as the analogy. Hayden Fry left the Hawkeye football program in shambles.
Yes.
In shambles.
Still revered.
Revered. Maybe more so than Kirk Ferentz.
Why?
Because he turned it around and he had that
connection.
He had that connection.
Yes. Hawkeye fans loved him. He loved Hawkeye fans. He seemed to understand Iowa. I don't see any of that from Fran. Dave said it too. Dave said, yeah, those other coaches you mentioned, they didn't chase refs down the hallways calling them cheaters. They didn't make national news by staring down an official like he was going to try to fight the man. I've said it all along. It's embarrassing. It always was. I didn't want that to be the Hawkeye look. I didn't want that to be what Iowa was known for. I never thought that he represented the state in a great way. He is I want to be really careful here. I think Fran McCaffrey is a wonderful guy. I think that he has a different communication style because of where he grew up. And
East Coast.
And that us here in Iowa kind of get turned off by that abrasiveness sometimes. And this is the great example of it. Staring down an official during a timeout. It's stupid. It's dumb. It's embarrassing. Chasing an official down a hallway to scream at them. It's dumb and it's embarrassing. And those should have been the things that Gary Barta instantly said, we're going to put this guy on suspension for a little while and talk to him and get these things settled down. And if he can't settle these things down, we got to go a different way. You know how Indiana did that with Bob Knight when he was winning national titles? We got to do that because this is not what we want our university to be.
And there needs to be a happy medium. I have no problem with an animated coach. I don't. I want my coach to be animated at times because we're talking about, the way he acted before to where he is now. You're like, you have checked out. Like, do you even? I think as a competitor, we know he cares, but you're like, okay, I'm working on myself. But now there's like no emotion. When's the last time you saw a red face?
And Lance wrote that and said, Fran's legacy is that red face. Fran's legacy is mad, shaking, angry. When I think of Fran McCaffrey, that's the image I have in my head. Shaking, he's so mad at some call that he didn't get while his team is down 14 with a minute to play. Blaming the officials for his team running out of gas. Blaming the officials for a call not going his way. Not addressing something in a timeout because he wants to intimidate an official. Like, that's his legacy. It's not winning. It's not the players that he put in the NBA. That's the things it should be. It should be the winningest coach of all time who put NBA guys with a Tiger Hawk emblem on their chest. That should have been it. It's not. His legacy is being angry.
And Iowa could win this weekend against Wisconsin. We're not saying they're going to lose. Wisconsin's ranked number 21. They've won 5 of their last 6. Iowa's been struggling, but I'm not saying they can't win on Saturday. But that's not going to change the narrative around this team. You can go out and win basketball games, but how can a lot of people pointing out that Iowa is going to be a bubble team even to make the Big Ten tournament, and so you can go win. It doesn't change what we're saying about Fran McCaffrey. Sometimes you just reach attendance alone will tell you how much apathy there is for this program. It's a broken record. We talk about it a lot. Won't be the last time we talk about it this year. But when apathy sets in and people aren't spending money and you're not filling up a 15,000-seat arena and you're half full at best.
Like half full at best.
At best.
Bring a top 10 team to town. You're half full at best. I saw one of our comments was something about somebody said, I had a dog that was named Hayden. I had a dog that I named Luca. I'll never have a dog named Fran. I knew 1,000 dogs when I was a kid named Herky. 1,000. I've seen, license plates all over the state that say Fry Guy. Hayden 1. My buddy Chris Flagg's son's name is Hayden, after Hayden Fry. Have you think anybody's out there naming their kid Fran? And not because of the name. He doesn't have that connection.
And going back to Hayden Fry, we mentioned that he left the program decimated, and you can't argue with it. Just look what Kirk Ferentz had to start with in 1999 and in 2000. It was complete rebuild. And Kirk Ferentz will leave the program better, but let's look at this year. He may be lucky to get to 6 wins. But it's that longevity and that connection with the fan base that attracts people. Johnny Orr. Johnny was a good coach. He pulled off some big upsets, but what did Johnny have at Iowa State?
Connection.
Woo-wee, coach.
Oh, man. And he also did this thing, I think, and you would know this a little bit better than me, Trav, because you were more conscious of it when it happened. He gave Iowa State some credibility. Johnny Orr, when he left Michigan State to come to Iowa State, to come to Iowa State, that was a coup. That was like a feather in the cap for Iowa State to go, hey, we matter. We're on the scene now. And Johnny was out there on ESPN telling Dick Vitale, we kicked your ass. It really, that kind of helped define a character trait for Iowa State when it desperately needed one. It needed an identity, and Johnny Orr gave that to them. And I've always felt like that was the thing that Johnny did for Iowa State fans more than anything, was he gave them that credibility. He's the one that stood up and said, hey, this is a good place. This is a fun place. We can win here. And I think that's why Iowa State fans loved him so much, because that was again, in my consciousness, that's when it was. I'm sure if Eric Haft or John Walters will listen to this, they can recall things before that. But in my lifetime, that was the thing where it seemed like, oh, this is why Johnny Orr matters to Iowa State. He believed in him.
Believed in him, loved it, and sold it, right? He was out there selling it
good
all
word
the time.
for it, too, Trav.
And look how he even teamed. It was him and Hayden that teamed up with the old Bartles and James
Yeah.
thing. Remember that? And maybe a little self-deprecating in a bit. You're like, he's one of us. You can look at Kirk Ferentz and go, he's one of us. Even though Hayden Fry had a deep Texan accent, he was one of us. Fran McCaffrey has never been one of us. And that's what people want in their sports teams. They want something that's genuine. They want somebody that has maybe a little vulnerable. Now, and what I mean by that is that if you win right away, you can kind of be who you want. But if things start to go south, they'll turn on you quick. They'll turn on you pretty darn quick, unless you're one of them.
Kyle wrote in our chat, he says, I would be fine if Fran stayed forever. I should point out that Kyle's avatar is a cyclone. So that gives you an idea how the state feels about him. Why does half the state want him to stay? Because half the state's Cyclone fans.
Now, to be fair, and Iowa State fans may not want to hear this, I understand why they want him to stay forever. They like to dominate the Cyhawk series, which Iowa State just won the Iowa Corn Cyhawk Trophy because they beat Iowa in tennis the other day to lock it up. But it's beneficial for the entire state to have both teams successful. If Iowa State and Iowa are both playing great in football, it's great for the entire state. Same with basketball. So,
yeah, I can't disagree with that. I mean, I understand the initial thought is like, well, wait, if Iowa State is doing well, then they're going to get better. They got a better shot at the good recruits than we do. But I think you're right, Travis. The talent pool is deep enough around the country. They're not always fighting for the same recruits in these sports. I do think it is better it's way more fun when both of these teams when Iowa and Iowa State are really good. It's even it compounds it when you get Drake or UNI like Drake is playing this year. That makes it so much more fun.
You know, Frank asked a good question. Looking at the program, would you want your kid to go there or be recruited by this guy? I don't know if it's the guy. Listen, his players. Say what you want about his players love him. You can't dispute that. Not a lot of guys transfer out.
Right, especially in this world as we've seen this thing evolve and the transfer culture grow and grow and grow. He has not been a victim of that thing. Players do love Fran. They love the way he fights for them. But let's take Frank's question there. If your son's being recruited by Fran, man, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one.
I think if it's coming down to, let's say you want to stay in the state and you have a connection, unless you grew up always wanting to be a Hawkeye, that's one thing.
That's what I'm hung up on.
But if you're like, okay, I'm a pretty good basketball player, a really good basketball player. I'm a Division I player. I'm getting recruited by T.J. Otzelberger. I'm getting recruited by Fran McCaffrey. You're probably looking to a number of things. One, where do I have my best chance to play? Because you always want to play. But second of all, where's my best chance to win? Where is my best chance to win?
I think it would, and also develop. What's my potential? Am I a guy that maybe has the potential to play in the NBA? He's been able to develop some of that talent. I mean, the recruiting thing. I love what Andrew said in our chat. Just because he's a shitty coach doesn't make him a shitty person. And I don't think Fran McCaffrey is a shitty person. I don't. I think he has a different communication style, and that leads to some abrasive context in his conversations. But I don't think I actually think he's probably a wonderful man. The times that we've had a chance to talk to him, he's a really fun guy to talk to. Man, that competitive juice just changes him.
And that's the hard thing about what we're doing here, because when you talk about somebody's job performance, it comes off as personal. It's not personal. It's just the product on the court.
We're talking about him as a coach, not as a person. Yeah.
I have to. Most of us, if you go to work, I would assume that most of you have a job performance review at the end of every year. I have mine coming up. Is it all sunshine and roses? The answer to that is no. I'm not perfect. I've got things I've got to work on, and sometimes it's really hard to hear because you do take it personally. You're like, well, you want to defend yourself and why you do something. Then when you sit back, you walk out of the room and you go, they're right. And deep down, you know probably where you're lacking, right? And
at my last job performance review, I was fired. So
no, you were laid off.
Yeah, right.
Ross was not fired. He was laid off.
Is there a difference?
Well, where I work,
I feel like laid off means you have the potential of being laid back on.
It's a good question. Where I work, one of the big corporations here is Union Pacific Railroad, right?
Yeah.
Well, every once in a while, they will furlough people knowing that they're coming back once train traffic increases quite a bit. When you're laid off, that's just a politically correct way to say you're fired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really easy. It's really easy. Did you have a job yesterday, and do you have that job today? And if those are two different answers, then you got fired. You can call it laid off. You can say furloughed, unpaid leave. There's a lot of words for yo ass is fired.
515-517-2303. That's the number to call. We have Iowa State basketball tickets for tomorrow's TCU game. If you're just joining the show, we'll tell you how to do that. This is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
Oh, boy. That's right, Brian. It's tailgate season, and Central City's got everything a good tailgate needs.
We have all the beer,
All the good party drinks.
And don't forget the White Claw.
hot dogs, brats, and chips.
Kegs and eggs.
And if you fill up your cooler with beer from Central City, we'll throw in the ice for free. By the way, what team is this supposed to represent?
All the teams, Brian. All the teams. I don't discriminate. Tailgate time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
There's more Iowa in the Iowa Tap Room than you may realize. Housed in a building nearly as old as Iowa itself, the Iowa Tap Room greets you with a harvest of 120 Iowa craft beers on tap from all corners of the state. And the food doesn't get much more Iowa than this. The Iowa Tap Room, all Iowa beer, one amazing place.
Hi, I'm Steve Ollinger, Service Director at Willis Nissan. February is here. Love is in the air. Valentine's Day is around the corner. Flowers, chocolates, brakes, oil changes, batteries. Get your car checked today. Go online to willisnissan.com to make your appointment. Happy Valentine's Day.
Is something in your attic keeping you up at night? Don't let unwanted guests take over your home. With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's trusted expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly wildlife solutions at a fair price. We safely remove bats, squirrels, raccoons, birds, and more so you can sleep soundly again. For a free estimate, call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage and Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage and Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage and Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
Number 2 of the Rush Radio Show at therushradio.com. If you're listening on the stream, thank you so much. If you are watching on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, give it a like, leave a comment. Follow us on X at Rush Mornings and like our Facebook page. And when you like our Facebook page, you are going to get an added bonus today because we like added bonuses. And the added bonus is free tickets to the Iowa State TCU game tomorrow at Hilton Coliseum, an 11 o'clock game. So here's what you need to do. You need to go to our Facebook page, give it a like. If you already like it, you're good, but you can post right there. What we want you to do is tag a friend or 2 or 3 or 4 and encourage them to say, hey, you should be listening to The Rush. Change their listening habits. It becomes, and do me a favor. I used to say this about our show, and that is our show would be something is an acquired taste. If you listen to it once, you'll be like, what am I listening to here? Now, if you give us 30 days, you'll go, oh, okay, I get the show.
Something's happened here, Trav. You've gotten all blurry on me, and yeah, it's like your internet connection is failing on me or something.
I look good in my screen. So,
we got issues.
The internet is a weird thing. It's a weird thing. Hey, we do want to thank why we got 2 new supporters of the Rush that have joined us, right? And Bats and Bugs being one of them, right? You've been working with the good folks at Bats and Bugs, and they're about bats and bugs.
Dude,
you got bats, they'll get rid of them.
Chris is a great fit for our show here. I got a chance to meet him and chat with him, and I'll be completely honest. When they first told me, hey, Chris from Bats and Bugs wants to meet you guys about advertising on the show, my first thought was like, man, having like a bug guy on the really? And then I met him, and I'm like, oh, this guy gets it. He's a fun dude. And by the way, this is a big problem. He does a lot more than just the bugs part of it is a lot more broad than the bats. Guy reached out to me yesterday and asked about raccoons, and I sent him Chris's way, and that commercial that we just aired did kind of point on some of those other things. Groundhogs, if you've got any sort of pest, critter infestation, something you want to get rid of, the bats are a big one. Give him a call and they can help you out, and he's a wonderful guy to work with.
And also new to the show is Absolute Garage and Closets. And
dude, that's another one. We went over there. I went over there to meet with those guys. I had no idea. I've been in houses that have the Absolute Garage or Absolute Closet systems in them, and I've been in houses that have a few of the different products that they have at Absolute Garage. Dude, the stuff that they can do to your home to increase the value of your home or just increase your enjoyability of your home, it is off the charts. And there's kind of this thing when you walk in, like, there's this Tim Allen thing. You walk in, you're like, yeah, garage stuff, yeah. And then all of a sudden you realize that they've got all this closet. Like, they can make your closet look like $1 million. So it's a his and hers experience when you walk into Absolute Garage, because the guys all go, whoa, look at all the garage stuff. And the women all go, whoa, look what I can do to my closet.
What's more important to you? Well, you don't have a garage, do you?
I do. Yeah, it's detached. Yeah.
Detached. So as a guy, do you like a better organized closet, or do you like a better organized garage?
by far garage. I mean, guy there, right? I love the stuff that's available. I mean, to the bike racks, the storage stuff that you can hang up. The really cool thing, Trav, that I want to do for my dad, because we spent a lot of time in my dad has a attached 2-car and then a detached shop, right? We spent a lot of time in the shop as like his man cave. That's where we watch all the Caitlin Clark games, where we watch Hawkeye football games. And they have these like screen. They custom fit these to your garage. It doesn't change your garage door. It's like an addition to the garage door, and it's just a screen that covers the entire opening of the garage. So if you want to hang out in your garage and have food in there and stuff and not be bothered by bugs or have some shade, they can do it. It's amazing.
And I'm the exact opposite. I want a good closet.
Yeah.
I want a closet. And maybe it's because I'm not very handy and I don't do a lot of manual labor, should we say. So I like a nice closet. So much so that of my wife and I have the bigger closet.
Oh, now I've lost your audio.
You don't have me?
There you are. Yeah. Something's going funky here, dude. I don't know.
It could be my internet connection, which is all highly possible. We're going to have to do a hardwire. I'm not hardwired, running off the Wi-Fi.
Oh, yeah, I'm hardwired.
Yeah, see, well, for me to hardwire, I got to go from do a 50-foot run. So we'll probably do that next. Dude, again, it's a work in progress. It's a work in progress. And you know what else? The audio thing is one thing. I would highly recommend listening on the stream for rushradio.com. You know what video does to the internet? It sucks it up. And I pay for I'm supposed to have the most expensive Wi-Fi. I find at certain times of the day that it doesn't perform like it normally should. We spent a lot of time in the last hour talking about the Iowa basketball team. Iowa State is in action tomorrow, an 11 o'clock game against TCU. I believe ESPN Game Day is going to be there. If you want tickets, go to our Facebook page and just write a comment and tag a couple of your friends, and we'll select somebody later on today, and we'll email you those tickets if you were the lucky winner. But Iowa State's lost 3 in a row, Russ. This team is in that, I'm going to call it that midseason slump, right? You're missing Milan Momcilovic. You haven't been able to shoot the basketball very well in the last couple of games. They've been on Monday. Huge opportunity just to get back on that winning track tomorrow.
Yeah, Trav, this is one of those that falls into that must win for certain reasons. And I think that the must-win part of this is that that mental rebound that fans and this team are in need of right now. There's all sorts of reasons. Again, not excuses. There's explanations for what has happened here. The one thing you didn't mention there, you've not been playing good defense. And I think that is those tired legs from having that long road trip, playing in some really tough places like at Morgantown and at Fog Allen, and a long road trip in Arizona out west. I'm piling all of those things up as excuses and reasons for why this team has been, or explanations for why this team has been playing the way they have. Those all run out. You've had a couple of days at home. You've had time to get right. You've had time to fix some things without Milan there. And now it's time to show that you are one of the best teams in the country, and that you a couple of nights in your own bed and getting your legs healthy again got things right. The shots falling is a big issue. That's something that that is not always just about having tired legs. That can be a confidence thing as well. So that's, I think, the must-win part for the team. That's where it comes from. But for the fans, it's just a mental thing. You need to see a W here so that you can remember, oh yeah, we are really good. We're not good. We're really good. We're one of the best teams in the country. And I think that fans need to see that again this weekend against CCU.
515-517-2303. Let's go to Mazer. Mazer, welcome to the Rush Radio Show at therushradio.com. What's going on?
Good morning. I just want to commend you guys on you're still trying to get people up to the Hilton, even though they rejected your marketing proposal. Are you going to, in that email, are you going to send them the flyer too and maybe sneak it in there anyway?
Maybe we'll send them a poster that says, after you flush, check out the Rush. You can always keep trying, Mazer. You can always keep trying.
pays off once in a while. And speak on Fran, he pretty much had the player of the year 3 years in a row, and he didn't get past the second round. Lucas should have been 2 times in a row, and then he had one of the Murrays. I'm over it. I've been over it for a while. He's predictable. He's easy to coach, just like it is easy to coach for Kurt. You come up the star, get the points, and then the team, no one else picks up the slack.
Thanks, Mazer.
Yeah,
Mazer. Are you gonna? I know you're an Iowa fan. Are you gonna post on our Facebook page and try to get the Iowa State tickets, and maybe you can start wearing Cardinal and gold? Take that as a no.
I don't want those things touching my hand.
Thanks, Mazer. Appreciate it, man. Be safe this weekend. We're talking about the 3-game losing streak, and you mentioned those legs, Ross. You brought up the Arizona trip. Let's not forget this team's been to Hawaii. It's traveled a lot this year, right? I mean, there's been a lot of traveling, and this isn't a mid-season reset. Let me clarify. I think Iowa State's a really good basketball team. Iowa State is one of the best teams in the country, and that's why it doesn't change my expectation. If they were not to get to the Sweet 16, I would say that this team failed to deliver on what it's good.
Dude, absolutely. And this is that thing, Trav, of where your threshold for success changes as your team, that those expectations change a lot. And that's right now the bad side of this for Iowa State fans. Your expectations are exactly that, and they should be. And I think you're right. If this team doesn't get to that second weekend of the NCAA tournament, I'm not saying like TJ's seat gets hot or anything like that.
No.
But fans will be disappointed in this season. Fans will look at that and go, man, we were a number 1 seed going into February. Or right around that time, right near mid-January, we were a number 1 seed, and now we didn't get to the Sweet 16. That will hurt. Doesn't mean that people will be burning their Cyclone stuff, or again that people will be calling for TJ's job. It will not live up to the expectation. Now, just think about that. On the other side of the state, you've got Fran, who's been there for decades, has had Players of the Year. What happens if they make it? If they make the tournament now? Fans will go, hey, look at the good job Fran did. Look at how he turned things around.
The only way they're getting the tournament is to win the Big Ten tournament.
That's not, and I know that's a real long shot. I'm just trying to use that as an example of how our expectations, I've said this a lot, expectation is the number 1 ingredient for success. The number 1 ingredient. What is your expectation for success? And right now, the expectation for Hawkeye's success is finish the season.
Yeah, finish. If you can finish with a winning record, great. You might get to the NIT. You might get to the CIB or CIT or whatever they're calling one of those postseason tournaments, which I doubt they would even take an invitation to that. But you're right. It's finish the season and finish with a 500 record.
Your blurry picture right now, it looks like if I were to try to paint a picture of you.
Don't worry about that.
It's funny.
Don't worry about that. 515-517-2303. Let's go back to the phones. It is Corey. Corey, welcome to the Rush Radio Show at therushradio.com.
Hey, guys. Welcome to the interwebs. First of all, I need to get a battery charger because everybody's going to these video calls, and my battery life is sucking dry real quick by noon.
Well, here's the deal. You don't have to. I would actually say this. I could make the argument that the best audio is on the stream at therushradio.com. I mean, if you don't have to watch us, if you just want to listen to us, which is great, if you just go to the live stream, I think that is actually the best audio, but that's just me. So you can like turn the video off and just listen to us.
All right. I'll try that next time.
All right.
But anyway, to Fran and everything that he's got going on, I struggle to remind myself any player that he has developed beyond their sophomore or junior year. Anybody name any player that was better their senior year than they were their sophomore or junior year. Luka doesn't count because he had his bushy eyebrow dad helping him out and got him better. It had nothing to do with Fran. I dare you guys to name 5.
That's like. I don't want to take away from what Fran did, because Fran, he was the head coach, and he did get him to the NBA, and he did get him to be player of the year, all blah, 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 blah. This is a fair point that Corey's making. We all know that Luka's dad was, his off-season workouts are really how Luka got to the NBA. Fran helped. Fran was a big part of it, and we can't take away what Fran's role was in that. But Corey is making a solid point here, too, that has to be thrown into the soup.
And I think we've always said that about Fran McCaffrey, is what is the development for that next level? And who's made a bigger impact from their freshman or sophomore year to where they are as a senior? I don't know if I can name 5. I'm sure Fran McCaffrey can sit here and go, oh, you don't understand. You didn't see the improvement in A, B, and C. But to me, improvement is what you watch on television. You look at a box score and you go, oh, you took your game from one level and took it to a completely different level.
Trav, I'll tell you what improvement is in my mind in the college game. Improvement is taking a guy who was projected to be a 6th-round pick and you made him a 1st-round pick. So that's to me what success is. That you took a guy that, to Corey's point, Roy Devin Marble. Did his professional stock rise while he was at Iowa? I don't think so. Aaron White, Utah. Did their stocks go up because of Fran McCaffrey? I don't think so. I think you can make that case for the Murrays, that their stock went up, that they were probably coming to Iowa, so they didn't get those stars as recruits that a lot of people did, but they were not expected to be those first-round draft. They weren't expected to go as high as they did, and you got to give Fran some credit for that too, putting them in that position to succeed. But it's not a long list. I can't argue Corey's point.
Anything else, Corey?
No, y'all are, and even Jordan Bohannon, he had 48 season with the Hawkeyes and still couldn't make it. You know what I mean? He peaked when he was young. But yeah, you guys are all making my point. Why everybody? Luka's the only one that I can think of, and it was because of his dad, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Hey,
and Corey,
good to
Patrick,
see you guys.
thanks,
I don't
buddy.
mind losing the battery life. You're not the only one that's eating mine up too.
All right, thanks, Corey. Appreciate it, man.
Corey. Patrick makes a really good point. And again, this goes back to your point, Travis, about what is Fran's legacy going to be? What will Fran be remembered for? Patrick Wright says, Fran is the winningest coach in Iowa basketball history who's never really won anything.
Just regular season games.
And a conference tournament title. They have 2 of those? 1.
And 1 for sure. Hawkeye fans, help us out, because our memories, we're getting old.
Yeah.
We're getting old. You can see Ross's glare on his head shows he's old, and I have 0 hair. That just says that I'm old.
Austin says, so many freshmen that made us excited and then never improved. Tyler Cook. Dude, when I saw Tyler Cook as a freshman, I'm like, this guy's amazing. This is a man-child. Look at this guy. He was good. He was really good.
Jared
he was
Uthoff.
Really good.
Was Jared Uthoff any better as a freshman when he left?
Those 4 years he grew, he got better. Did he get significantly better? No, Trav. Again, to Corey's point, you'd have a short list when you start to compile that list of players.
And the crazy thing is, when we talk about this, which kind of blows your mind away, is that it's not like Iowa's ever had a hard time scoring points, right? They've been really good offensively. It's not like they don't score points. They kind of play an exciting style of basketball. They just don't play defense. But just think if there was that massive improvement in a development standpoint. But what is the gauge of improvement? Is it making it to the NBA? Is that what coaches should be judged on, is how many guys you put? Football does it. Look how many times Iowa would say, let's do the Hawkeye report of players in the NFL. Iowa State now, who's playing in the NFL. Is the gauge of improvement and the gauge of success how many players you put in the NBA?
I think that there's several things, Travis. It's not one thing. The gauge of success is winning. That's it. Once, if you're not winning, then you start grasping for these other things to say, no, wait, I was successful because I had Luka Garza. Wait, I was successful because I put the Murrays into the NBA. Travis, this is what we used to do with graduation rates. Yeah, I'm not winning, but I'm graduating my kids. They get good grades. Isn't that why I'm here? No, I'm sorry. You're there to win. And not just win regular season games. It's more than that. So the development thing is the things that we grab for when the first thing isn't there. Quite frankly, that's and I'll be kind of mean here. That's what we do with Kirk Ferentz. That because we don't win the Big Ten, we're not getting to we're not going to win a national championship. Why do we love Kirk Ferentz? He puts guys in the NFL. Damn it. So what we've done is we've shifted the framework of success so that we can hit it. We're not going to ever win the Big Ten title. We're not going to be Ohio State. We're not going to be Michigan. So let's not claim that. Let's just say, man, if we can just get guys to the NFL, especially Iowa boys, we can take a kid from Altoona, Iowa, and put him in the NFL. That's why we're all here. We've decided that's success now.
People putting Tyler Cook's name up, Aaron White, Peter Jock. And those are good examples, but you're thinking now. If you have to think over, a 15-year period, I think that says a lot.
Yeah.
Says a lot. Isn't it funny how we got back to Iowa? Because, we started this segment talking about Iowa State, and it's game, but people just keep coming back to Iowa. Because I think people know Iowa State should be or will be fine.
Yeah, and I think that there is just more... There's more meat on that Iowa bone because there's more disappointment. With Iowa State, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to be excited about, but I think that it is there's a wait and see right now with Iowa State. There is a wait and see. We all have seen these last couple games and gone, crap. But I don't think it's a crap. I don't think it's an oh no situation this weekend. I really don't. I think that you're hoping that you see the signs of life again. You're hoping that you see the ball get through the hoop. You're hoping to see your team get back on defense, get a win. It'll make you feel a lot better about things going forward. So I think that's why we're talking about Iowa more. Right now with Iowa State, it's kind of a wait and see. Let's see what happens this weekend. They win that game, we'll feel better about it. They lose this one, and I guarantee you Monday is going to be a lot of Iowa State talk.
515-517-2303. We didn't talk about it earlier in the week. I wanted to. We just never got to it. But Tucker DeVries out for the rest of the season at West Virginia. They're going to apply for a medical red shirt for Tucker. I've been beating the Darren DeVries drum. A lot of other people have. A lot of people said he'd never leave West Virginia. Oh, yes, he would. You're not attached out there yet. You've only been there a year. If the Iowa job came open and they paid him like he needs to be paid, or at least match what they're doing at West Virginia, Darren DeVries would take the Iowa job. I believe. Do you believe that?
You know him way better than I do, dude, but he's a guy that has spent his entire life in the Midwest. West Virginia is a different place, man. It is culturally, not a knock, it's different. It's like California is different from Iowa.
Well, when I lived in Wisconsin, Ross, I did not feel culturally, and I was in northern Wisconsin, I didn't feel at home there. I was like a fish out of water, and that's just a state away.
Darren and Tucker have spent their family. It's not just those two, dude. As you well know, it is the family when it comes to Darren, and they've spent their entire life in the Midwest. It has to be a cultural shift, maybe a little bit of culture shock that's happening with them. I completely agree with you. If the job is open and the money is there, I think he'd come back to Iowa. 1 year at a place like West Virginia, I don't think anybody would look at that as like, oh, he wasn't tough. Well, they would, because this is what we do as stupid-ass sports fans. Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't built the Mountaineer way. I'm glad he's leaving. We do that with athletes. He's transferring away. He wasn't built the Hawkeye way. He couldn't handle Kirk Ferentz. But that's what he'll do. He'll bounce, and we'll love him, and the West Virginia fans will call him a traitor or whatnot.
I think I would hope there would be some go, I get it, right? if you were to leave West Virginia for South Carolina, that would make you mad because you were building something. If you go, well, he's going back home. His brother played football at Iowa, was an Iowa fan. I want to believe that most people, rational people, not that all sports fans are rational, would go, okay, it sucks, but I get it.
Yeah.
Now you just wonder if Beth Getwood is thinking like that, because I think a lot of Iowa fans look at it and go, okay, he proved himself in 6 years at Drake. Because I saw something pop up in the chat earlier, like, oh, does Ben McCollum come to Drake or to Iowa? I'm like, well, back up. He was at Northwest Missouri State last year. Drake 1 year. I need a little bit more before you take over a program like Iowa. Yep. Darren did 6 years at Drake. He's winning. Will be an NCAA tournament team at West Virginia. I think he's proven that he's able to do that. 515-517-2303. That is the number to call. Good to have you along on a Friday. Again, we're giving away Iowa State tickets to the TCU game. We'll tell you about that when we come back. Still time to get in on that. It is The Rush Radio Show at therushradio.com.
Is something in your attic keeping you up at night? Don't let unwanted guests take over your home. With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's trusted expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly wildlife solutions at a fair price. We safely remove bats, squirrels, raccoons, birds, and more so you can sleep soundly again. For a free estimate, call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400.
My name's Quinn LaFrenz, and I'm a sales consultant here at Willis Infinity. It's February, which means love is in the air, and we have great deals for you here, including our most popular model, the QX60. We have 2.9% up to 60 months, and this Stealth Wrap one has an additional $5,000 off. And our all-new redesigned 2025 QX80 has $3,000 in conquest on top of additional savings. With that, you still qualify for the 2.9% APR up to 60 months. For more information, visit us in the showroom or visit us online at willisinfinity.com.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage & Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage & Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage & Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show at therushradio.com. You can listen all day long by visiting therushradio.com. Click that Listen Live button. You can pick the show up right in the middle of it. Just pick it up in the middle of our conversation. If you want to start from scratch and go from the very beginning, you can listen on your favorite podcast channel, wherever you subscribe to your podcast. The replay will be up there shortly after the show. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. Don't forget that we are giving away Iowa State tickets to see TCU tomorrow. What we want you to do is go to our Facebook page, like that Facebook page, and then tag a friend. And this is a prerequisite. You have to tag at least one friend and say, hey, are you listening to The Rush? It's that simple. And then later today, hopefully before noon, we'll be able to select a winner. Somebody will be reaching out to you, and they'll say, hey, we're going to email you tickets. We're going to email you tickets and send you to Hilton Coliseum for tomorrow's 11 o'clock game against TCU. I know you're going to see Tammy Pescatelli at the Funny Bone tomorrow.
Dude, I got a busy 36 hours coming up here.
Really? What are you doing?
Daddy-daughter dance tonight.
Oh, I only did one of those. I have 3 daughters. I only did one daddy-daughter dance. I did it with Mary.
I was going to say, wait, you did it with the middle one too?
Did it with the middle child. Yeah. I was a crappy dad, Ross. I really was. I have so much guilt on how bad of a father I'm a much better father now to my kids as
you
adults.
are, and I would say that, dude. You peaked at the right time. I would say as a dad, and I think your kids probably feel that way too.
Now, Owen, thank God, he's my harshest critic, right? I mean,
okay.
Owen and he's my harshest critic, but he's also one. When I say this in front of the kids, he's like, "Dad, you're too hard on yourself."
I think you are too.
Yeah, but my wife will tell you, no, he's telling the truth. He's telling the truth.
He was awful.
Yeah, he was horrible.
I probably don't say this enough. I think you are an amazing dad. Your kids love you. Your kids are so well adjusted. They're smart. They're fun to talk to. They're happy. If in 10 years my kids act the way that yours do and still treat me the way that your kids treat you, I will look at that as success, my friend. You've done it.
I am lucky considering my own family life where I haven't talked to 2 of my brothers in 26 years.
Yeah.
That my kids still talk.
You didn't
I didn't talk
know
to my dad
the way, dude. You didn't know these roads that you're driving on.
Yes. I always say this. If you want to break dysfunction in your family, and I grew up in a pretty dysfunctional family, and I just made a clean break. I said, I've got to break from this. It's going to ruin my life and my wife's life, my kid's life. I made a clean break. So, before my dad passed away, I hadn't talked to him in 25 years. Didn't talk to him even before he died. I'm not saying you follow that same path. It was the right path for me.
And those are the things, Trav, that as your buddy, I know those things, and that's why I always go, no, man. You've made those really tough decisions to make your kids' lives better. So
I tried.
Yeah, you are hard on yourself.
We give Deion Sanders a hard time, and he's taking a beating. Ross, did you see this? I think I saw this. Colorado's football team has a cumulative GPA of 3.0 or over for the first time in school history. For the first time in school history, the football team had a cumulative, that's putting everybody together, a 3.0 GPA. I think that's a pretty... Now we talk, and he won this year.
Yeah.
Right? So for all the flash, all the money, all this stuff, when he says, hey, you got to go to class first.
That's really cool. I didn't expect that. Several parts of that headline that you just said, I did not expect. Number one, this is the first time ever?
That's what I saw. Now, it could have been a fake meme, but I'm like, okay, I'll take that as gospel.
And so I guess we probably should run it through the filter of, if true, this is really impressive, because that's not the impression that Deion was giving out in the world. Deion was definitely giving the impression of winning football is the only important thing for me here. That's the impression that I was getting from the guy. I don't know where I got that. That was just something I was extrapolating from what I've seen. I'm really impressed by that. I go back and forth on Deion. When he first got hired, I was really rooting for the guy. And even at Jackson State, I was very adamant about that. I thought he was going to be able to disrupt the system down there, and getting Travis Hunter was exactly what I was hoping for. Came to Colorado. I was hoping, win here. Prove to the world that it doesn't have to be this old system of good old boys coaching. Yeah, you have to be an athletic, or you have to be an offensive coordinator at an NAIA school before you can get a shot at the big time. What if you know football? I was really, and then some of the stuff got a little bit out of hand. He kept posting
what he did to the writers, the media.
Yeah, what he did to Sean Keeler, our friend. Some of it was like, oh, this is far. Well, I like this headline. I like this. I'm glad that Deion is walking the walk, man. After talking the talk, he's walking the walk. He's winning football games. These kids are getting good grades. I like it.
Now, it's going to be interesting to see how he performs as a coach with Shador gone,
no
with
Travis Hunter
gone.
Yeah.
But he just hired Marshall Faulk to be his running backs coach. So you have 3 Hall of Famers. Think about it. 3 Hall of Famers.
Help me out. Who am I missing? Who's the third?
Warren Sapp. So you have Deion Sanders, Warren Sapp, and Marshall Faulk on your coaching staff.
Listen, that might not mean a lot to a 17-year-old kid, but it's going to mean a hell of a lot to his dad.
Yes. 100%. Now, I don't know if Marshall Faulk can coach, but I like what Deion's doing here. We're like, Warren Sapp, you were a really good football player. You have something to teach these kids. Because most coaches come up through the ranks, right? You start as that GA.
Yeah,
you go up through the ladders.
Yeah.
This is just a non-traditional way of it. You're going, you know what? I know this guy. I know his ability. And if I can put a guy that has, an old gold coat on and send him out recruiting, and all you got to do is watch the Marshall Faulk video and go, oh, he's pretty good. Just do a little homework on me.
Man, Trav, this is and I've always thought Marshall Faulk was a really smart guy. I've always been a Marshall Faulk fan. He's different. He seems a little bit different than Warren Sapp and Deion Sanders, though. He seems more reserved. Am I missing something there? Was Marshall Faulk, did he just kind of get buried in, because, man, they had a ton of personalities when he was with St. Louis. Obviously, he was with Peyton Manning for a while. Was Marshall Faulk, does he have a little bit more of that Warren Sapp and Deion Sanders than I know?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I agree with you. I mean, Warren is a lot more outspoken, has had his own personal problems, to say the least.
Colorful past.
But Deion's willing to give people a second chance or give them a chance. And you wonder, like Eddie George is coaching now, right? And Eddie George probably got a head coaching job because he's Eddie George. But you wonder how many guys are like a Marshall Faulk or a Warren Sapp who go, I want to coach. But I get done with an NFL career, I'm not going to go be a GA somewhere. I'm not going to go to Bowling Green to be an assistant coach. That's not what I want to do. And so
Warren Sapp was like a commentator for a short period of time too, and that pays a lot more money than being a defensive coordinator at Bowling Green.
But you're like, I know Deion. I like Deion. He's going to pay me, and I'm at a Power 5 school where I can make a difference.
And Travis, again, something that you and I know very, very, very intimately. Working with your friends and working with people that you love to work with, man, that's worth a lot.
It is. Just be happy.
Yep, to be happy, to wake up and be like, hey, I can't wait to start my work day here with the people that I get to work with. That means a lot, man. That's worth a lot of money.
So, yeah, Deion, the kids are passing the grades, and he's bringing in coaches that will definitely raise some eyebrows when they walk in the room, for sure. Earlier in the week we were talking about shows and movies and stuff like that. I'm gonna play a movie trailer, and the reason this popped up in my head, it popped up on my Facebook page this morning. I'm like, what is this? And we talk about how scripts kind of remanufacture themselves, or you just kind of take a similar storyline and make it into a new movie. I want you to listen to this trailer. If you're watching on YouTube, watch it and tell me what movie comes to mind. And it's called Green and Gold. And I played it for Ross earlier. He didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about it till this morning. And it's got some star power in it. But listen to the trailer, watch the trailer, and we'll have our thoughts on it when we come back. Just listen to this.
For my Grandpa Buck, farming wasn't a job or even a way of life. It was a sacred act.
Easy, easy, easy.
For him, it wasn't the frozen tundra. It was the Garden of Eden.
Does your granddad know where you're headed?
He knows I'll be home later.
I couldn't do farming anymore. I was on my way out for some bigger dreams.
This ain't your land.
Well, when you don't pay your loan, it becomes my land.
What was that about?
Where the hell you been?
Talked to Godie. Apparently she's got some musician staying up at her cabin up on the big lake.
I'm Jenny.
Jenny, local musician. Godie said you might be stopping by.
How much do we owe the bank?
You think I like tearing down the little guy, Buck? You think I like it?
Well, your license plate says a-hole.
I will make a little wager with you. The pack go all the way, I will give you another year interest-free. And if they lose, you sign everything over to me.
Take it.
No, we ain't betting folks, Jenny.
I want to take your tape and share it with my manager.
Your granddaughter's, she's really talented.
Yeah, I know that. You do anything to hurt her, and I will hunt you down, and I'll gut you like a 10-pointer.
Great.
What do you think you're doing? I'm gonna take the bet.
You better pray God owes the pack a favor.
You know that no one cares about her little slice of nothing in the middle of nowhere.
I do.
I want to hear you before you become rich and famous.
No guarantee of that. You go chasing your hopes and your dreams, you forget who you are. And there is nothing worth the cost of losing everything that's wild and free.
In real life, miracles don't always arrive on time.
And the pack beat the Bears.
And the good guy doesn't always win.
You still believe in what we're doing?
More than anything.
Go back.
Ross, you have a farmer that's about to lose his farm. You have a sports theme. What does that sound like?
Are you saying that's a little close to Field of Dreams?
Just a little close to. You have the mean banker who goes, "I don't want to take your farm, but you're going to lose it."
But your license plate says asshole.
Yeah, you do the unthinkable. One is build a baseball field. If you build it, they will come. The other is you place a bet on the Packers to win the Super Bowl, and you get to keep your farm. Sounds
the
like
only thing it was missing was
theme.
Based on a true story.
It's not based on a true story. Now, you see Brett Favre in the movie. You see Sterling Sharp, who was just elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
That's what they got to do. They can do the Rudy thing. They can say based on a true story. Well, what part of this was true? The Packers played football.
Packers won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, Packers won. You guys didn't know that? Yeah, it was right there. You can look it up in the historical record. This is basically a documentary.
Based on facts that were true at some part of this movie.
So this is funny. I saw that Jay Muntz just wrote, I'm never going to watch because the Packers suck. I will not watch any of those movies about the Boston Red Sox. There's the one with, it's called Fever Pitch. It's got, well, I don't like Jimmy Fallon either, but it's got Jimmy Fallon and Drew Barrymore in it, and it's about the Boston Red Sox winning in 2004. I won't watch it. For the same reason I won't watch Twister. My house got destroyed by a tornado when I was a kid. Not doing it. Too close to home. Red Sox, I'm okay. Thanks.
Happy Gilmore, kind of the same. And this is what we're talking about. You're about to lose something, and you wrap it around a sports theme.
Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore is the golf Field of Dreams. I've never thought of that.
See? Hey, it works. Let's just repeat it.
You can loosely describe the plot, and people don't know if you're talking about Field of Dreams or Happy Gilmore. Family home is about to be lost. Financial perils are ensuing. There is a sports thing that can happen. There's this athletic thing that can happen that can save the family's house. We just described all those two movies and this one. Oh yeah, the antagonist. It's Shooter McGavin in in
the banker, who looks like the banker from Field of Dreams. Got the beard.
The girl choking on the hot dog is essentially when the thing collapses onto the green. This pivotal moment. Oh my gosh! Now things can't be the same. We're not going to get to the conclusion. What's going to happen? I'm just going to bank the putt off the windshield of the VW Bug, and we're going to save the girl's life.
Dan the Man says, what about the Goonies? Yeah, but
Well,
that wasn't a
besides the
sports
athletic
theme.
thing, yeah. So we could just change some words and go, family home is about to be taken, financial perils are ensuing, and you've got to do some sort of quest in order to save the families. Yeah, and at the very and then now again, what's your pivotal moment? When the family catches them in the pirate ship at the end.
Blues Brothers, same theme. Got to save the convent. They're on a mission from God.
Man, did you see that comment? The last one that's there?
Says, I'll watch. My family was one signature away from losing our farm. We had an a-hole for a lender, but only bet on ourselves to make it. I can relate.
That gave me chills. I'm like, whoa.
So,
cool.
And the reason these resonate with people...
I want to know that story.
The reason it resonates with people because people can relate to it. Not everybody. Some people will watch it because they're Packer fans. But there'll be farmers that watch this go, you don't know how close I was to losing my farm. And we saved it. And this, not the same story, maybe justifies the path we went down. Now, if you go to the page, it is like, it's showing in like selected theaters, but then one of the clicks is, if you want to show it in your church, let us know. Because they want to get everybody at church.
I'm like way into it. You're playing that trailer, and I'm like, whoa, Craig T. Nelson.
And there's good actors in it.
Football, farms. Yeah, and then at the end, brought to you by Culver's.
We can get it.
That's the part where I was like, oh.
Well, somebody had to fund the film. Somebody had to pay people.
I get it. Here's what Culver's should have done. They should have created a subsidiary company with a different name. Because saying brought to you by Culver's, I'm sorry, it watered it down. Made it feel like the type of thing that I'm going to see while I'm pumping gas at Quickstar.
On the little video screen?
Right, that's what I think. Come back in 2 weeks for part 2.
You know, even when I'm freezing my butt off and I'm putting gas in my car where I normally get back in the car, if you have a video screen, I tend to stay and watch the video on the gas.
Do you
screen.
really?
I do.
Oh, dude, I can't hit that mute button fast enough.
Where's it at?
I'm like,
where's it at?
Quit talking to me.
So now every movie you go to, relate it back to another movie that you loved, and I guarantee you're going to find some similarities.
Those
I watched this trailer.
Themes.
I watch stories just repeat themselves. It's how you just tell the story. You go, well, let's take Field of Dreams, package it in somebody losing their farm, and let's do it around football and a crappy banker, and then write a movie about it. Pretty genius, actually. Now, I don't know if it becomes... I'm surprised they got like a Craig T. Nelson in it. I mean, that's
Who is the other? There's the other guy in it. He's in a bunch of goofball movies. There's
He's
another
older, crustier guy.
Yeah, the older fella.
I don't know who it is.
No,
but
his name
he's
either.
one of those guys where you don't know his name, but you see his face, you're like, oh, you've been in a lot of movies.
He looks like Warren Beatty. Or not Warren Beatty. Who was the guy in Deliverance? Not Warren Beatty.
Oh, it was Warren Beatty in Deliverance.
Oh, Warren Beatty. Okay, yeah.
Now, I remember Warren Beatty from Superman 1. Remember Warren Beatty in Superman 1?
Yes, I do.
Doing the dirty deeds for Gene Hackman.
When I first started growing the beard, I felt like I looked like that one bad guy in Superman 2. The guy that's like from Jarrell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guys that came back because they
I never understood
Krypton.
Remember, it was the three people. It was like the leader, and then he had the girl with him, and then they had that really big, strong guy, but he was super dumb. Do you remember this?
Yes.
And I always wondered, like, how did Ned Beatty, not Warren? Thank you.
Sorry.
Thanks.
Yeah, Warren Beatty's. Yeah.
Yeah. I knew I was wrong somewhere in there. But I always wondered, how did that big, strong guy and be so stupid, but still get to be an like interplanetary traveler?
He's just hanging out with the right people.
Yeah.
Wasn't he like the first one dead? You had like 3. You had the main guy. Then you had
Dude,
the
I don't
girl.
remember. No, he didn't. He killed all of them at one time, didn't he? Didn't he send them in some sort of disc?
Oh yeah, and they
remember.
like swirled away. I know what you're talking about.
Something like that.
It's coming back to me now. We have a poll up on X, and I haven't mentioned it yet. But if you want to take time to vote in our Rush Radio Show poll, who wins the Super Bowl? Big game coming up on Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday, Kansas City or Philadelphia. Right now, Ross, 58.5% of those voting say Kansas City will win the Super Bowl. 41.5% say Philadelphia will win the Super Bowl. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say Philadelphia wins the Super Bowl. I don't know why, but I'm going to take the Eagles.
Is that what you're hoping for, or is that what you think will happen?
I really have. I have no dog in this fight.
Okay.
And I'm not a Chiefs fan, even though we kind of live in the Chiefs' kingdom. I just think I think winning 3 in a row is hard.
Yeah.
I think Kansas City has lived on the edge for most of the season, and I think it catches up with them in the Super Bowl. That's just, and if Philadelphia hadn't been here for a while, that'd be one thing. But Philadelphia has been in this game, was in this game a couple of years ago against the Chiefs. So I look at it and go, you know what? It's Jalen Hurts' time. It's Saquon Barkley's time. The only thing, and there's a little drama. The Eagles have been reporting out of New Orleans that they've been sick. You know, there's been a lot of players that have been ill. And I'm like, you have that, just that Michael Jordan Game 6 against the Jazz mentality when he was sick and went off. So I'm throwing one out there that it's just, they're going to win the Super Bowl just because.
Man, Trav, this is one of those games I see both. Like if Kansas City wins and we get to see 3 in a row, and Patrick Mahomes gets put into that conversation of being one of the greatest of all time, that'll be fun. It's going to add a lot of fodder for us. I've got some Philadelphia Eagles fans in my life who have been waiting a long time for this. And that would be really cool to see them get a chance to do that. I'm with you. I love Jalen Hurts. I really like Saquon Barkley. I think that would be cool to see these guys get a chance to see that happen. So I want Philadelphia to win. I'm not going to be mad at all if Kansas City wins this football game. I'm really just hoping for a good game on Sunday, and on top of the fact that, you know, for very selfish reasons, I'm hoping it's a close game going into the fourth quarter.
Absolutely.
But I do want to see a good football game on Sunday.
Yeah, so if you weren't listening yesterday, you might see a Rush Super Bowl commercial. You might. No, you will, but that's why we want you to keep listening or watching the game and go, wow, that I know those two. I watch that view every single day. Did you see Bill Belichick with his girlfriend in New Orleans last night?
I've seen Bill Belichick with his girlfriend. I did not see them in New Orleans last night.
So there was a big NFL gathering last night, and they were walking the red carpet, and he's got all his Super Bowl rings on, and he's 72, she's 24. What they have in common, I have no idea, but she's wearing one of his Super Bowl rings. She's got one of the big old.
So I think you're getting close to what they have in common. You're getting close. Starts with an M. I'll help you out. Materialistic is the word we're looking for.
You saying she's a gold digger?
She ain't messing with no broke brothers.
Yeah, so she looks good on his arm. More power to him. I wonder if she said, can I wear the first Super Bowl ring, or did she get the last one, or
Bill,
did you get a middle one that nobody cares about?
Can I have one that you gave to Putin?
Where are you watching the Super Bowl? You watching it with family? You watching it by yourself?
No, watching with friends. Yeah, got invited to some friend's house for the game, so planning on doing that. Gonna be a busy weekend. when we get together Monday, there's going to be a lot have happened.
Busy weekend, and we want to thank everybody for spending another week with us. Again, if you want Iowa State tickets to see TCU tomorrow at Hilton Coliseum, go to our Facebook page, tag a friend, and say you should be listening to the Rush Radio Show at therushradio.com. For Ross Peterson, I'm Travis Justice. We will talk to you on Monday as we recap the Super Bowl right here at therushradio.com.
If you have a pest problem with over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's local expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly pest solutions at a fair price for your home or business. Call us today at 515-218-3400.
Believe it or not, spring is coming. When it does, be absolutely organized with custom garage or closet systems from Absolute Garage and Closets. Turn a winter mess into a spring success at our showroom in Urbandale or visit absolutegarage.net.
Hey, I'm Mason out here at Mini of Des Moines, one of the motor advisors. Currently this month, love is in the air, and what better way than the all-electric Countryman SE. Right now, we are doing a $499 a month, $499 down lease special. One last big thing that we have this month is for the two-door hardtops, we are doing up to 60 months, 2.99% rate. So for more information, stop at our showroom. Come see me. We're happy to get that information going, or see us on our mini website, miniofdesmoines.com.
Believe it or not, spring is coming. When it does, be absolutely organized with custom garage or closet systems from Absolute Garage and Closets. Turn a winter mess into a spring success at our showroom in Urbandale or visit absolutegarage.net.